Hey, welcome back to another video. It is once again DC x Sonic the Hedgehog time. The second issue is out. Hopefully this video will be out a little closer to its actual release. In case you missed the first video and decided to click on this one for some reason, I really enjoyed the first issue, actually. I was a little trepidatious going into it because the last big DC crossover that I was super hyped for was total shit, but I was pleasantly surprised. It was very enjoyable. I'm not going to recap the whole issue here, go back and watch the initial video if you want to know my full thoughts, but generally, it was good. And the second issue very much continues in that trend, because this is also a really good issue. Same deal as the first time, I'm not going to go over every single little plot point because this is a new book, I want people to go read it, but there are going to be some spoilers, so if you don't want any of that, then click off now, go read it, and come back later. So, with the first issue, one of my main complaints, and not even really a complaint because I sort of let it slide, was that Darkseid was not that present in the issue. He was a lot in the background, and we really only saw him at the start and at the very end. This issue majorly corrects that because Darkseid is in a lot of it, and it's immediately clear how much of a threat he is if you're not super familiar with him. Literally right at the start, Sonic and Flash have come upon Darkseid, and he's got one of the Chaos Emeralds, and he absolutely trounces them. Sonic is able to avoid his Omega Beams, but Darkseid still gets away with the Chaos Emerald, so, straight up loss for the heroes here. And that is a, consistent thing throughout the whole issue. We see a lot of Darkseid and a lot of him being a legitimate threat now, so it, like I said, does a lot to fix the one complaint I really brought up, is that we didn't get a lot of Darkseid being a major threat because we were establishing other stuff that should have been established, mind you. I'm glad that we did it, but it does lessen Darkseid's impact as a villain, really, in that first issue, just because we don't see a lot of him. But, a lot more of him here, and if you're not familiar with Darkseid, just within those first couple of pages of him absolutely wrecking Sonic and the Flash, I think you get a pretty good idea now of how big of a threat he is. I am a little disappointed there's not as much character interaction this time, but that's sort of what I expected. We did a lot of it in that first issue. The second issue needs to start moving things along, and it definitely does. Obviously, we're in a much more serious position right from the get-go because Darkseid has a Chaos Emerald now, and Darkseid is already so unbelievably powerful. Him with one of those is a major problem. So a lot of this issue is actually, there's a number of action scenes, a lot more than we really had in the first one, and we get some more pretty good team-ups. Again, not a lot of team-ups that aren't Sonic and the Flash and Shadow and Batman. We've got a little bit more of Wonder Woman and Amy teaming up in this one panel where they fight. I truly don't know who this is. And for the most part, that's what we get for most of these team-ups, is we get a couple of panels. We still haven't really gotten any banter between a number of them, at least not extensively. And once again, Shadow and Batman kind of steal the show when they fight Steppenwolf, who just gets absolutely destroyed. The fight is literally 4 panels if you're generous. And then immediately after that, we can see some shit getting real serious with these, crackle things? I don't even know what to call these, that are spreading across the whole planet. Clearly, that's not good news, especially because it caused some huge rumble, so we're escalating now in this issue. It feels like things are progressing, which is more than I can say for some series I've been reading recently. Power Rangers Prime. Just like the first issue, Sonic and the Flash's interactions are great. There's not quite as many of them as in the first issue, but that's fine. We don't want to completely beat that joke into the ground. But they're still snarking at each other the whole time, pretty much. And Flash even gets to snark at Eggman. Eggman is kind of a bit player in this issue. He's really only in a couple of panels. I don't know entirely how much more Eggman will get in the series, but I imagine at least a good bit. Eggman's also responsible for, my favorite moment in the book, probably, where the egg carrier rams right into the eye of Darkseid's Ragnarok, which is just really funny to me for some reason. I can't totally tell you why, I laughed when I saw this the first time. Past that, it really is just, action. It's really good action, and it's very energetic and very dynamic, but it is, a fight scene, so there's not a lot to greatly talk about with it. And that is, I think, sort of a microcosm of the issue as a whole. It's really good, it's very enjoyable, but unlike the first issue where I had a lot of stuff to immediately go into with the character introductions and how they immediately interact with each other, because we've established that already, there is less overall to say on this issue. I will say that it gave me yet another, why is this a monthly book? I need to read the next issue right now when this one ended. And there are small moments that I really enjoy. We get a couple more panels of Amy and Wonder Woman hanging out. Wonder Woman, sitting out the back of Amy's car is really funny to me. And then there's also a bit where Wonder Woman says that she might have to stick around and deal with Dr. Eggman, which is an amazing visual to consider, and Amy seems to be up for the idea too. Frankly, I would read an entire like separate miniseries that's just Amy and Wonder Woman going around and kicking ass. And after not getting a whole lot out of Superman in the first issue, I do appreciate that he gets in a little bit on the ribbing that Sonic and the Flash are doing to each other. It's not a lot, it's just a little moment, but it is good, and it works for Superman. I like when Superman is kind of jokey. So that is, to me, like the extent of the story content. It's really, really good. We're escalating. We see Darkseid as a lot more of a threat compared to the first issue. It's just there's not as much character stuff to go over in the first one, so there's less overall for me to gush and theorize and be a giant fanboy about. Once again, the artwork, incredible. I neglected the first time to mention the other people working on the art. That is my bad. I usually try to do so. Adam Bryce Thomas, obviously, pencils, great, incredible. Basically all the same stuff I said last time. Matt Herms did the colors. I love Matt Herms' colors every single time. He did a lot of color work on the Archie series, and it was always, always gorgeous. And that is no different here. It looks really, really good. It's very vibrant, everything pops, especially Darkseid's Omega Beams when he's using those. Those look exactly like how they should. Those look great. And there are a lot of really good picks for like the best panel in the issue, because I guess that's a thing that I'm doing now. I really like the one at the start before Darkseid fires his Omega Beams. Sonic dodging the Omega Beams and getting this like Sonic Unleashed-esque face is pretty good too. And Shadow going full Star Platinum on Steppenwolf is a major contender, but I think I've got to give it to this one comparatively really small panel near the end of the issue during the actual proper fight with Darkseid when Shadow uses Chaos Control. This panel is insanely good. Like, this is one of the best panels I've ever seen, probably ever. At the very least, definitely in Sonic comics, but maybe in all of comics. That's just incredible, dude. So yeah, that's honestly, I think all I really have to say about this issue. Definitely shorter this time, but there's less, overall preamble. We've gotten the character interactions out of the way. I like the way they interact with each other, and there's just less overall of it this time. But again, really, really solid issue. If you're a Sonic fan, if you're a Justice League fan, if you're both, definitely check this series out. I've seen people, posting online that they're not really Sonic fans and they're really enjoying it. I'm not really a DC guy. I read some, but not a lot, and I'm loving it. It is a really, really good series. And I hope that this quality continues for the remaining 3 issues, because if so, then this, I think, has a contender to be at least on the same level of quality as Worlds Collide, which I'd say is pretty impressive given that Worlds Collide was a 12-part story, and this is only going to be 5. So yeah, check out DC X Sonic if you like any of the things. It is really, really good. I will continue to make videos about each issue because I just want to gush about this series, and hopefully I'll get back on to doing, mainline IDW coverage at some point. That's going to be it from me. I hope you have a good day, evening, night, whatever time it is for you, and I will see you guys next time.